Disclaimer, I do not endorse drug use in any way. This video is made for educational and informational purposes. 3,4-methylenedioxymethamphetamine, better known as MDMA, is a psychoactive compound most commonly used at dance and rave parties because of its euphoric and uplifting effects. MDMA was first synthesized over a century ago, but it wasn't until much later in the 70s that it was used for psychoactive therapy, and it took another decade for it to hit the mainstream party scene. So how does MDMA work? MDMA releases large amounts and blocks the reuptake of neurotransmitters, which cause these neurotransmitters to flood the brain. The neurotransmitter serotonin is the most prevalent one. However, dopamine and norepinephrine are also affected. Some of the things that serotonin helps regulate are mood, appetite, sleep, and memory. After use, the depletion of your serotonin storages can result in lower serotonin levels and activity, which can cause a hangover, but we'll get to that in a minute. First, I want to address the elephant in the room, the risks associated with MDMA use. Let's start with some statistics. Data collected by the US Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration recorded around 22,500 people that visited emergency rooms related to MDMA use in 2011. This might seem like a lot, but it still ranks under opioids, cocaine, antidepressants, and even marijuana. Another thing that should be taken into consideration is that 90% of visitors were sent home after their initial conversation without receiving any treatment. In the same year, the Office of National Statistics in the UK recorded 13 MDMA-related deaths. Related is an important word here, as this includes deaths caused by MDMA in combination with other drugs. On average, only about 1/10 of MDMA-related deaths involved just MDMA. This would mean that just 2 of the deaths were caused solely by MDMA. To put things into perspective, the alcohol mortality rate is approximately 25 times higher and the tobacco mortality rate over 200 times that of MDMA. The main risks of MDMA are malignant hyperthermia, also known as heat stroke, hyponatremia, also known as water intoxication, and dirty MDMA, which basically means your MDMA has been cut up with other drugs like amphetamines and caffeine. So now that we've got some of the statistics covered, let's dive into a practical approach of how to rave safe. The first thing you always want to do is test your drugs. I'm going to say that again. Test your drugs. Your MDMA can be cut up with stimulants or be a completely different substance altogether, like the extremely lethal PMMA. If it is possible to get your MDMA tested in a lab, this is definitely the way to go. If not, you can also test your batch at home with test kits that you can order online. To test for presence of MDMA, you want to get a Marquis test kit. To test for PMMA and ketamine, you'll need a Mendelein test, and if you want to check for opioids and DXM, you'll need a MECA test kit. Next, you want to determine a safe and comfortable set and setting. These are basically things like your mental health, your physical fitness, and the place, time, and surroundings in which you will be using the MDMA. Alright, all set to roll? Not quite yet. Before we can start, we have to make sure that we've got the right dosage. Common guidelines for dosing suggest an intake of 80 to 120 milligrams or your body weight plus 50 in milligrams. Exceeding this amount will increase the risks and unwanted side effects without really enhancing the experience. Trust me, it's not that much better and you will regret it for the days to come. After you ingest the MDMA, it can take anywhere between 30 minutes and 2.5 hours for effects to start taking place. Once you start coming up, which usually lasts somewhere between 10 and 20 minutes, you can experience a buzzing feeling, heightened body temperature, a slight lightheadedness, and a change in perception. Once the dose fully kicks in, you'll experience a wide range of effects. Some of the wanted side effects are having a lot of energy, euphoria, deep empathy, lowered social inhibitions, and enhanced senses. All of a sudden, music becomes a song of the gods, and touch becomes so intense that you just want to melt into the other person. Some of the unwanted effects are tight muscles, jaw clenching, nausea, the inability to pee, lowered appetite, trouble sleeping, anxiety, and even death. But as mentioned before, death is exceedingly rare and is mainly caused by heat strokes and water intoxication. Informing yourself beforehand can easily prevent this. The rule of thumb is to have 1 to 2 glasses of non-alcoholic beverages every hour. It is also recommended to eat something salty or drink a sports drink to keep your electrolytes balanced. Electrolyte imbalances are the main reason for water intoxication. It's also smart to take breaks from dancing and sun exposure to prevent overheating. The most important thing though is to always look after each other. Even if somebody is a complete stranger, they might someday end up returning you the favor. If you are planning to do a booster shot, which is a term used for taking another dose, it's ideal to take half of your initial dose after 1.5 to 2.5 hours after your first dose. After you're done raving, it's time to pay the price. Your serotonin storages are all depleted, your minerals are imbalanced, and you probably didn't get much sleep. Luckily, the COMEDOWN doesn't have to be complete crap if you just follow these guidelines. Rest a lot. Stay busy and engaged when you're not resting, and eat healthy foods. On top of that, you can use supplements to negate some of the effects of the COMEDOWN. We'll start off with the supplements that you can use before your roll in order to minimize the damage afterwards. This is the supplement stack that RAVE uses in their After MDMA kits. Brace yourselves, gentlemen, for this is quite the list. 2 grams of vitamin C, which helps boost the immune system and stimulates tissue repair. 400 milligrams of magnesium glycinate, helping with mineral regulation, cramped muscles, and energy production. 500 milligrams of acetyl L-carnitine, which helps protect against free radicals and improves cognitive function. 400 milligrams of green tea leaf extract, also known as EGCG, which is a powerful antioxidant. 200 milligrams of R-alpha-lipoic acid, which helps with vitamin regeneration and protection against inflammation and oxidation. Followed by 300 milligrams of grapeseed extract for some more of that sexy ass antioxidant power, and lastly 100 milligram of coenzyme Q10, which helps with energy production. If you have trouble sleeping after using the MDMA, you can also take 5 milligrams of melatonin. The next day you have a smaller stack of just 400 milligrams of EGCG and 100 milligrams of 5-HTP. 5-HTP is the precursor to serotonin, so you should take this supplement for the entire week after using MDMA to help replenish those serotonin storages. Big safety disclaimer. Please do not use 5-HTP or any other serotonin precursors like L-tryptophan prior to your MDMA use, as this can cause the lethal serotonin syndrome. Besides being used as a recreational drug, there's also some very interesting medical trials being done that use MDMA to combat PTSD. In the Phase 2 trials executed by the Multidisciplinary Association for Psychedelic Studies, or MAPS for short, 61% of the 107 participants no longer qualified for PTSD after just 3 sessions of MDMA-assisted psychotherapy. I think this is absolutely mind-boggling. As we're coming closer to the end of our MDMA crash course, we should probably address the frequency at which you should use MDMA. Because of the potential neurotoxicity and serotonin depletion, it is recommended to wait at least 1 month, but preferably 3 months or longer. Not waiting long enough can cause brain damage, anxiety, and depression. Lastly, we'll have a look at the prices. What is the best bang for your buck? Unfortunately, the prices vary greatly around the globe, with a gram of MDMA coming in at over $100 in Australia and the US and less than $10 in the Netherlands. This is the reason why I would recommend anyone to order their drugs on the dark web, where everyone can enjoy the low prices and high quality. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you want to join the pack, subscribe down below. Stay tuned for the next drug information video, and most importantly, stay safe.